Welcome, one and all, to another fantastic episode of the Final Cast with your hosts, Matt
and Brad.
What's up, buddy?
The Final Class. I like it.
Final Class. We're changing our name. That's what the new name is.
That's funny.
Lord.
So, what's new, man?
Not a whole lot. I engineered my hate for a lake we went to on Sunday. So I'll never go there again. Until
I need to bring you there. We're gonna freaking get you a limit at this place.
I hate that lake. I've been going there since I was 10 years old, and I think the only fish I ever caught was a bluegill.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I just don't. Now, granted, all the times I go are the days when it's a minimum 10-mile-per-hour wind, and it's just the grass isn't built up yet, or it's early season. I've never gone in the summer because I'd rather go to the river than go to there. So I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you. I only go to Kaiser if the river's not flooded. But man, I've caught my PB there. I caught a nice 19-incher there this past weekend on a chatterbait.
You did. I watched it. It was awesome.
Will caught two more after you left.
Oh, did he? You ended up catching two more?
Two big ones.
On the A-rig? Did he A-rig out like he wanted to?
No, he got them on the chatterbait.
So. At least chatterbait's starting to pick it back up. That's all that matters. We're getting into that season, which is great.
Yep. I throw chatterbait all year round. I don't even care.
I mean, I do too, but there are just some points when once it starts getting cold, the jerkbait is the only lure I like to throw just because I love throwing jerkbait. So
jerkbait is fun.
You ain't wrong. Couple things before we get started because this is going to be a good episode. The Final Cast is brought to you by two fantastic sponsors: DarkHorse Tackle, the best baits you've never heard of. Subscription box comes every month. Fantastic box. We do unboxings every single month. Go back and look at those, see all the heat that comes out of these boxes. And if you're a new subscriber, on your very first box, you have to do the subscription. You can't do the prepaids or whatever. But on your very first box, if you use the code PaddleNFin, you get 20% off your first box.
No, it's Paddle 20, I think.
Maybe it's Paddle 20. Brad usually does this part. I'm just doing it.
I know.
I'm just rolling in on it.
Paddle 20.
Paddle 20. Get 20% off your first box. Again, you have to do the subscription. We've had people reach out and be like, it didn't work. You got to do it on the subscription series. But I promise this is a box that pays for itself. It's fantastic. You'll love it.
I've been catching fish on some of the stuff I've got.
They're all the last couple of weeks, that's all you've caught fish on is that naked swimmer.
Heck yeah. I love that swim bait. It's nice.
Oh, it's perfect. It runs great. It swims great. And we're brought to you by Nikko, the next generation of soft plastics. They are some of the best super plastic you can get on the market. Super stretchy. I mean, it is fantastic. They're known for their Helgramite, which is this bait right here, which I doodle with all the time on different setups and whatnot. I've got it on a Nikko rig right now, which is fantastic. Fits on there great. Looks awesome.
You gonna get the new one, the big one?
I've got the big one. I just haven't messed with it yet. And I'll be honest, I ordered it. I don't know what I did with it. So
throw it on the shaky head.
That's the plan. Throw it on the shaky head. Throw it on a T-rig. I'm pumped, especially coming in the next thing I want to talk about. 2 weeks from the day this episode comes out, we will be at Dale Hollow. Pumped.
Heck yeah.
That's all we're talking about now.
I talked to Zach from DarkHorse Tackle today. He's not going to be able to make it. He pulled his bicep off the bone at work.
Ooh.
So I'm like, yeah, dude, that'll make it hard to cast and paddle the kayak. So
and just live. That
rough. Sucks.
Oh gosh, man. I know a couple of dudes who did that when I was in the Marine Corps, and they were down for a while. Yeah. So yeah, that is rough. So speedy recovery to Zach. Get better. Get back out fishing.
For sure.
But anything else you wanted to cover before we jump in?
No, I think we hit it all. This episode, we are going to be talking to the doc himself, Mr. Brian Goodland from Doc Master Baits. And speaking of DarkHorse Tackle, featured in some of their boxes over the last few or so months. Welcome to the show, man.
Well, thanks for having me. Happy to be here. Like what you guys are doing.
Appreciate it. We like what you're doing too, because what month was that? February we got your Huddle Jack.
That was March. I was
March
I
was
was
last
painting
couple
all.
months.
Yeah, I was painting all of February to get those out for March.
It seems
Yeah, I
like
appreciate
forever ago. I don't know why. Like since we got that box, it just seems like it's been a long time. It's been a long month, I guess.
Well,
There it
This
time
is-
is flying. Time's
Come
flying.
on,
They
light. There you go.
yeah, that's the
that
baby
model.
bass pattern.
Which is sick. I'm gonna be throwing this at Dale Hollow. I'm excited.
Thank you.
I've
Thank
been
you. Yeah,
throwing it
Dale
quite a bit.
Hollow.
Yet.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I've been throwing it quite a bit lately, but I haven't been able to like get one to bite it yet.
Yeah, I know Zach from DarkHorse was testing the bluegill pattern, and he sent me about 8-9 pictures of bass that he caught in a couple hours.
That's
And,
awesome.
I can definitely see it.
Yeah, the action on that was really nice. When we were looking at blanks to paint for March, I kind of skipped over that one. I looked at it and I was like, not really wanting to paint something like that. But then Zach reached out, sent me a picture of that and said, let's go with this. I was like, okay. And when I ordered them and they came in, I was looking at them. I'm like, okay, these are a lot cooler in person. And yeah, once I got one in the water, seeing the action on that, I was pretty impressed. They were nice.
Yeah, I actually can't wait until it warms up a little bit because that thing has some amazing wake bait action.
Yeah, it does. It does. I was testing a few things out on Sunday because I never get to the water. I really don't. I do like 2 trips a year, and if I can get out for a couple hours after that, I'm lucky. But I took my daughter out, and I have so many baits that I painted for myself that don't even have hooks on them. They've never even touched the water. They never get out. But I thought I'd try to get out, and I was running that one as a wake. And it stirs the water up. It's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the fishery I've been throwing it in or what, but I think maybe bluegill probably would work better. Matt's familiar with it. What do you think?
Bluegill for us here, I think it would probably work a little better, but that largemouth pattern's got to get bit. I think we're still just a little bit. The fish that are hitting it right now where we're at, I mean, our water's just now starting to get a little warmer. Once we get into spawn season, like actual full-on spawn, you run that over some beds, I think it'll get destroyed.
Yeah, I'm being patient with it, so I know it's going to get bit eventually.
Yeah, I think it will. Stick it out. I think you'll have some luck with that.
Yeah, it'd be awesome if it ends up being like a 6-pound bass or something. That'd be so cool.
Tell you, that's the thing about swim bait fish, man. You gotta be patient, and then you're gonna hit, and then it's done.
You see, I never had the patience with big baits. When I used to get out to fish a lot more than I do now, I'd throw them on for a few casts. To be honest, I didn't know how to work a glide bait. When I go to Canada, we do a lot of troll fishing, and I'd throw a glide bait on and not pick anything up. And I'm like, this isn't running right. And I'd pull it alongside the boat and hang it out and look at it. And I'm like, this thing's just kind of doing nothing. And it wasn't until recently that I learned how you have to fish those. And I took a few of mine out on Sunday, and I was just amazed at what they really do when you know how to work it. And so I'm excited to be more patient and use bigger baits whenever I get out and see what they do.
Yeah, I don't really know how to work glide baits either. Matt does. He's a big swim bait guy, but I'm not.
I am a big swim bait guy. That's like one of my favorite things to throw big swim baits, and it's definitely. I mean, Brian, you're right on the money to where you gotta have patience, and working a glide bait is more about drawing power than it is about. I mean, getting a fish on it's awesome, but you can throw a big old 8-inch glide bait, and you'll watch fish come out and be, oh, what's that? And then they'll go back where they're at, and you follow it up with them smaller and smash them.
Yeah, I found just giving a turn of the reel, no rod tip jerking, nothing like that. Just give it a turn, and that thing will kick to the side, kick back to the other side, and it didn't take a lot of work with it to figure that out. Once I knew that was a better way to go about it.
Right.
Yeah, you're just doing those half turns. That's how when I was in a boat, I would use my rod a lot more and actually tick the rod to make it move back and forth. And then in the kayak, if I'm sitting, which I am a lot of the time, I can use my rod, but it's awkward. So I just go, whop. I do one turn and do a big old loop.
Yeah.
Let it float out and then do another one. It'll come back real quick and it goes fast in the center. And then it just kind of glides all the way out and make big old S patterns, man. You'll get fish, follow it. You'll get fish coming out to see what it is. And then once you see them, then it's on, because they'll go right back to where they were at. It's not like they're seeing it and moving on. They'll see it and run away because they're like, oh, that's weird. And then they'll go back and then you throw something in there and smash them.
Yeah, that's cool. Before we get too far into it, do you want to do a little introduction about yourself, where you're from and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, just on the outside of it, in Beaver County. I grew up not far from where I'm at now, bounced around a little bit, but I've always just been on the outskirts of Pittsburgh. I'm 43. I have been working in fire safety since 2005. I had an art background when I was in high school, and I got an associate's in commercial art in college. And when I was doing that, Adobe Photoshop and other basically household programs were coming out while I was trying to get my degree. And the things that I was wanting to do, they just didn't exist anymore because anybody could do those things from home. And I fell into a job shortly after that, and I've been doing that ever since. And I really never got back into art. I can't say that I really loved doing it when I was younger, but I had friends that are like, oh, draw me a tattoo idea. Draw me this, draw me that. And I'd do it, and I liked the reactions I got whenever I made things for people. And I kind of missed that, but that's not really why I got into lure painting. I was getting ready to go on a fishing trip. Canada got canceled because of COVID, and we were looking for something similar, the group of guys I go with. And so we decided to go to Maine. And I had messed around with painting a few lures. I had an airbrush gun that I wanted to get into taxidermy. And I realized I didn't have the time for that, to work on like a deer head from start to finish. You can't leave that sit for days and then get back to it. But I bought some supplies intending on doing it, and then it just never happened. But when we were going on this trip, I looked on eBay looking for some inexpensive lures to buy, some cheap. And I stumbled upon blanks that I never knew they existed. And I was like, hey, I got an airbrush. Why not buy, a pack of 20 of those and see what I can do with them and see if they work. And so I painted a handful. They were like the X-Wrap knockoffs, and some wiggle warts. And I did a few of those, and I took them on the trip. And my buddies were like, these are pretty cool. You should try and sell them. And I didn't really get into it for that. I just wanted to get myself some cheaper lures. And over the winter time, I kind of missed painting. My shop was ice cold, couldn't paint. Paint doesn't flow through an air gun when it's 40 degrees in there. And so spring comes around, and I was missing it, so I got back into it, and I really jumped in. I was looking at stencils, watching videos of tips and tricks, and I bought every color of paint you could find, different clear coats, built a booth. I did all the things necessary to get going, and probably then some. And made some more stuff, made some jerk baits, and my buddies, kept telling me, you got to go online. So I made my Instagram account last March. So it's just been over a year since I've been on social media. I don't really do a lot on Facebook, but I have to have a page to run Instagram. I try to remember to post things there. I'm not great with that, with social media in general. So I try to do everything on Instagram, and when I remember, post some stuff on there too. But yeah, I just kind of stumbled into it. Didn't expect to be doing what I'm doing right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Seems like that happens to a lot of our guests that do custom painting and stuff like that. They're just like, oh yeah, just started doing it one day. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, we just had Blue Rock on not too long ago, and he said the same thing. He's like, yeah, I've been making, jig heads and everything for myself for a long time, and then I just had some buddies say I should just, start reaching out. And so I started doing that, and then I got plastic molds, and now I'm pretty much doing it full time. Like, it just happens.
Yeah, that's a rabbit hole you can dive down into. I've got friends saying, oh, you should do soft plastics too. I'm like, my wife will never see me. I'm in the shop so much. I have a full-time job. I got a 6-year-old daughter, and my wife's full-time military. And basically it's go to work for 10, 12 hours, come home, do dinner, put the kid to bed, and then give the wife a kiss and say, I'm going down to the shop. And it might be 9 o'clock, and I come up at 1 a.m, go to bed, get up at 5, and do it all over again. And it gets a little tough, and it's not always like that. But I've been fortunate that DarkHorse, I think they reached out to me when I was on Instagram, maybe after like 2 months.
Yeah, they're good about finding new painters and stuff like out of nowhere. So like, if they choose you to be in their box, you know that you're doing something right, because they handpick like some quality painters.
Yeah, I thought it was a joke at first, to be honest with you. And I looked them up. I looked up some YouTube videos of unboxings, and Josh has tons of tip videos. And I messaged a few people saying, what's your experience working with these guys? And everybody had nothing but good things to say. And so yeah, I reached out. I think I did 20 swim baits for the People's Champ box when they had that. They came back and had me do another 20 a few months after that. Then last September, they hit me up with 270 wiggle warts. I was like, oh boy.
That was one of my favorite crankbaits I've gotten. I'm glad you brought it up. I'm gonna screen share this thing because I think this is the coolest paint job I have ever seen on a crankbait.
Thank you. Which one did you get?
I got the mud bug.
Okay. I love that one.
Oh, it looks so good.
I saw a lure that was similar to that, and I was like, man, this would look really cool to put on a wart. And so I was going back and forth with Josh. They wanted 10 different patterns, and I painted some samples as something I thought might look cool, sent it to them. They say, yeah, go with that. And they give me some ideas on color combinations they wanted. But I saw a picture of something similar to that, and I'm like, I was like, this blue with the brown and the tan and a black outline is going to be pretty cool. And I sent a picture to Josh, and he's like, yes, definitely do that. And
so cool.
And I'm glad I did, but I tell you what, I hand drew all the black lines on like 45 of those things. Talk about tedious.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
About 5 into it, I'm like, man, should I really suggested this one? But I'm glad I did. I mean, nothing cool comes easy. So put the work in, and I'm happy with how they turned out. I'm glad you got one.
I know. I don't know. Matt, you got the white and green one, right?
I did. Yeah, I got the white and green one, which is sick, but I was so jealous of that color that you got.
Sludge Factory.
Sludge Factory is sick. I like it. I'm a huge fan. I actually have it in the Day Hollow box going down, just because it's different enough. It's still from the top, it'll look natural, but it's different enough to give it that, like, I want to eat that because I don't know what it is type of color. Yeah. And but that blue, oh man, that was so nice. It was just it's awesome. It's gonna be perfect for early to mid spring, because those crawls will be molten, they'll be different colors, there'll be shades of blue and whatnot. That thing is gonna get destroyed.
Yeah. Well, hey, there's always more where they came from. So if you want one, you can always reach out.
Yep.
Where I've done that before too.
Yeah.
Right after a show, I usually do something. So don't worry.
I
Sludge
told Matt.
Factory. Oh, go ahead.
I told Matt when he got his and he showed me that one, I was like, that kind of reminds me of like the Monster Energy drink, kind of.
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
the
yeah,
Neo.
with the neon green. Okay.
Yeah. The black line.
Yeah, that one. I tell you what, I just had. I wanted neon green. That was really all that I had in mind when I did that, and I cut a cross stencil out of a milk jug, and just started putting it together, and that's how some of them go. Halfway through it, I'm like, all right, what color might look cool here and there. Sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. But I was listening to Alice in Chains in the shop while I was putting that together, and Sludge Factory was on, and I was like, yeah, that neon green, that's a cool name for that.
That is cool.
Thought that worked well.
That's awesome.
I like it.
Brad,
It has meaning after it.
That's cool. Some of them do. I listen to a lot of music while I'm doing my work, and there's a couple things I've done that were named after song titles. Some of them, just trying to think of something catchy, something that resembles.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can see in your line of work, it's finding inspiration in whatever you're doing to get your names or to even maybe certain color patterns or something. I'm not a big art guy, but that's just because I'm not talented in that way or form. But no matter what it is, whatever your hobby is, you find inspiration in it, and I'm sure art's no different.
Oh, definitely. And I get a lot from the people I follow on Instagram. When I made an account, I had no idea how big this was. I'm like looking up custom lures and trying to find people to follow, and there's an endless amount. It's like, oh my God, like I'm not gonna become anything on here with all these people doing it and for how long. And I carved out a little circle. I'm happy with it and having fun. Everybody I've met is awesome. People I've talked to asking tips. It's a different world on Instagram than when I had a Facebook account.
Yeah.
That got me off of social media like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And I was dreading getting back on to do this stuff because I didn't want to be a part of it. But Instagram, everyone that I deal with, it's like the drama's not there. The hate, you don't do it the way I do it and you're wrong. None of that's there. Everybody's been so cool.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, like the Instagram community, so much different from Facebook. It's like on Facebook, you can, like, people, it's like they do it on purpose. They share their opinions to piss other people off. Instagram, you can't really share your opinions like that. I mean, you share pictures, but I don't know. It's cool. Like the fish community is cool on Instagram.
I was just talking to somebody the other day about Facebook and Twitter, especially. The stupidest people are always the loudest.
Yeah.
So you can't pay attention to what they're saying. But Brad hit it on the nail on the head. With Instagram, it's all about pictures or reels. Like, it's not really your opinion. No one really, in all honesty, we don't care. If we're posting a picture about something we like, it's something we've made, something along those lines. So like with you, it doesn't surprise me because of how well your work is that you kind of carved out a circle so quick, for the simple fact that the baits look good, they photo great,
Thank you.
and they work. So that's the end all be all. You're covering every aspect of it. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, DarkHorse had done a lot for me. I can't thank them enough. When Josh reached out and I did some projects for them, they got me into households that they would have never heard of me. And seeing people do unboxing videos and getting my name out there a little bit more, I'd pick up some more followers. I'd get some more orders off of people seeing the lures from those boxes. That's been a lot of help with getting me out there. Right. No question. You
So
got the smallie up there. I like that one. That was
It
my
does.
first attempt.
I was gonna make a funny joke about eating smallmouth, so Matt gets mad, but
You.
oh man, that's funny.
Make it. Make the joke.
I was just gonna give him crap for that. I always make
Mm.
jokes where I'm like, "Oh, deep fried smallmouth, delicious."
Hate you.
I tell you what, I've never eaten anything from Pennsylvania waters. Now you always hear about the mercury, and like you don't want to eat anything out of the Allegheny, you know.
Yeah.
But when my friends, we've been going to Canada since I've been going since 2005. Some other guys a little longer. We would eat smallmouth, and we would catch walleye, we'd catch pike, perch, and we'd fillet them up, put them in a pan, and you wouldn't know what you're eating. They all just taste like clean white fish. You know, the water is so clean up there.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about getting sick from stuff. And the smallmouth tastes just like a walleye. It's I wouldn't notice a difference. Granted, we do batter them, you know, so you get the flavor of that. But
right.
when I've told people I eat smallmouth or I've eaten smallmouth, they're like, what are you eating bass for? Like, well, we were hungry. It was good.
Yeah. It was in Canada. Nobody cares about Canada.
Yeah, that's true.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
So you run your shop through Instagram. If somebody wants to order baits from you, how do they go about that? And do you have a bunch of different blanks they can choose from?
Yeah, right now I might have 50 or so different blanks. If you want to order off me, I get tons of messages. Yo, do you have a website or you have a shop? How can I order off you? I tell them right here. You order right now. I like being personable with people. I want to keep my costs down. I didn't get in this to like make money, really. I just like it. And if I get a website running, well, then that's out of my pocket every month. And I do other things like that. That's out of my pocket. And I don't want to just eat that, but I also don't want to put it on the customer. Right. So for right now, and for the free time that I have, send me a message, tell me what you want. I'll put it together, and I'll send pictures to customers as I'm going through the process. Say, hey, this is how it's going now. Anything you might want to change about it. Do you want me to add a chartreuse tip to the tail? I can do things during it to alter it. You don't have to pick one from a picture on my page. I tell customers, send me a picture of something that you like, and I'll tell you if I can put it down on a blank. And I have a few pictures of the blanks that I have. I'll send them to the customers and say, this is what I've got. And, work from there. I try to stay or keep them involved throughout the process. Mm-hmm. Some are really cool and say, I don't care what you do, man, just send me something. Get painted on that smallmouth. That was for a guy, Dylan. They'll be fishing. You probably, I think, he wanted that blank and he wanted a trout blank, and he's like, do your thing. And I was like, that is really cool. A lot of people are very specific, but then people like him, that tells me they really like my work. They trust that I'm going to do something cool for them and that they're going to be happy with it. And so I had those blanks. I wanted to do a rainbow. I wanted to do a smallie. So I did those and sent them out to him, and he was thrilled with them. So that was really cool.
I'd like one of those smallmouth baits. How big are they? Like 5-6 inches?
Well, I have that blank in front of me in a largemouth that I had done. This is going to a customer in Canada.
Nice.
I'm not shipping it there, but I'm going to meet him on my fishing trip on the way up in June. I'm doing a smallmouth for him, and his name's Cody. He just messaged me today about doing another one for him, since I'm going to meet him on the ride up on our trip and hand him off to him. But this is a 6-inch wake. So yeah, the one joint wake bait. I don't know the weight on it, but I want to say that it's about 3 ounces.
Probably about
Probably between 2.6 to 3.
Yeah.
And this one is a slow sink. I like to get the slow sinks more than just a floater because you have the option of keeping it close to the top or letting it drop down.
Yeah. I'd like to have one of those. I don't even know if I'd even use it. I just like the look of it. Like to put it in like a little glass case or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, that's a compliment. If you like it that much that you don't want to use it, that means as much to me as if you're going to use it. I'd rather you used it and had fun with it.
Yeah.
But if you want to put it on the wall, I'm not going to complain. That's pretty cool.
I'll put it right here behind me on my backdrop. That'd be cool.
There you go. There you go.
Right next to the sand.
Get you one of those too. Give me a shameless plug.
Yeah, there you go. I saw you had your terrible towel. I got mine right here.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yep.
Matt's a Browns fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, you got us. You got us once in the past couple of years.
We got you once last season.
I'm talking like for real. The playoff game that you guys won.
Oh, yeah.
1999. I think.
Let's not go too deep into it. You're already eating smallmouth.
Back to fishing.
Gosh.
That's funny. No, I don't know. Rabbit holes. We get down a bunch of those into the podcast. So
yeah, that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
Hey, just so you know, my wife's from Cleveland. My wife's from Cleveland, and her family's out there. So my father-in-law, big Browns fan. My wife's converted to a Steeler fan because she's smart like that.
Oh.
I bet that's a fun
it's
family
like my wife
get together.
You know what? It's cool because my father-in-law, he's been so beaten down from being a Browns fan. He's like accepted it. He's like, no, you're gonna kick our asses this year, and there's no really rubbing in. But what's pretty cool, her side of the family, Dante Lavelli, Hall of Famer for the Browns, played with Otto Graham.
Mm-hmm.
So he is their uncle, grandpa on her side. So they are like through and through Browns fans. And I respect that. It's cool. So it's a good when I visit them, I kind of get dumped on a little bit, because it's them against one. But it's always good fun. It's good fun.
Yeah. I always tell Matt, because we talk about it all the time. I'm like, you know what? I can tolerate the Browns. My wife's fans, all Bengals fans, I can't stand it, dude. I hate the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
I hate them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to care about a rival, and they're looking to be a top dog now. They got a tough team.
Stupid Joe Burrow. Anyway,
you're gonna be good.
Anyway, so we kind of hit on the ordering process. I kind of want to dive more into the actual creating the baits aspect. So, kind of what goes through your head, or what steps do you take? You're looking at a blank. To create something different or new, because it's almost like nothing you make is really the same thing over and over and over. It's always a new style, new pattern, new color, something new blank, something like that.
Well, yeah, I want to try to do different things, but just about everything is drawn from something I've seen. There's a lot of great painters that I've talked with, and got some inspiration from seeing their work. Dark Corner Customs, his work is like so real. He's doing taxidermy, and it looks like he's taking pictures of live fish. I see his stuff, and that's kind of what got me to want to try to do this largemouth. I was like, man, his stuff is so good. I want to see if I can make a largemouth look as real as I can. And I think I did all right for my first attempt, but I know there's things I could do to get better on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of just look at what colors would go together well, what colors have been effective for me. Sometimes, if it's for an order, the customer just tells me what they want, and I'll put that together for them. But looking through some things that I have here,
I can put you full screen here so we can see.
No, we can't go wrong
Nice
with
perch.
just natural. It's hard for me to get it centered trying to play with where my lens is.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I did that. Wanting to have some natural baits. The shad that I put together the other day, I just had this gold to red shift paint that I was dying to use.
Mhm.
And so I thought I'd put a white shad and kind of make that the back and see how it turned out. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, I will look online. I'll Google pictures of lures. I'll look through lures that I've bought over the years and just kind of see the color combinations and some patterns. And I'll take a little from here and take a little from there and try to make something my own. And it's hard to do. You know, you can only paint a perch so many different ways.
Yeah.
But then I'll see some painters put some stuff up and I'm like, man, that is cool. Like I would have never thought of that. The styles that some people were doing. So yeah, I mean, really, I'll stand in front of my booth. I'll put a blank on my clips and put a base coat down, and then I'll look at all my colors. I'm like, I want to use that. I want to use that. I want to use that. I'm like, I can't use all that. And so I'll just start with one and kind of see where it goes from there. Now I got a pile of lures that are kind of half finished or completely painted that I'm like, I'm not putting eyes on that and clear coating that yet. I don't really like how it looks. But for every couple of those, I'll get one that turns out pretty cool that I like. And those are the ones I typically take pictures of and put up.
Mhm.
But you never know what somebody else is going to find interesting.
Right.
And like that's the thing. I've got stuff I've been sitting on that I kind of want to post. I don't like it, but that doesn't mean other people won't. But I don't look at those as my best work, so I don't want to put those up. You know, but yeah, the process. There's a lot of trial and error. I've learned a lot by making a ton of mistakes. But still make mistakes. You know, you flaw the paint a little bit and maybe have to start all over. There's way more to it than I really imagined. But I've tried to refine my process with how I lay my colors down, drying the paint before I put a stencil up to it so I don't smear it. Like simple things, or maybe putting a clear coat down if you're going to do other stencils on it so you don't scratch it, and then taking it from there. There's certain paints you can't run a hair dryer over to dry fast because they'll crack. There's some that will dry nice and fast. There's some that you can't really thin out the way others do. Neon paints will tend to run more, and you got to lay them down real light, and then another coat, and then another coat. At least for me, this is some stuff I've learned. And yeah, I messed a lot of stuff up trying to figure out how to do it right and get better at it.
Right.
Trial and error.
What's the wildest color you've ever came up with?
Wildest color I've come up with? I mean, I don't know what you might consider wild. I got these grenades. I thought they were really cool and just giant square bills, basically.
That's sick.
And I wanted to do a craw. I wanted to do a variation of the browns and blues. And it's like, you got all this room
that's
on
cool.
here for details. So
That's so cool.
Yeah, splattered a little red on there and turned out okay. Sometimes that doesn't look right. But yeah, I did the eyes in blue. When I do my craws, I don't like the regular wiggle wart look with pimple on them. I try to just make them dark. I did this one in a fire tiger. I recently
Is that the one
put
you
it up.
redid recently?
Yeah, I just put it up, called it the Tiger King.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Just saw my uncle made a post about that the other day, and I was like, well, I'm doing fire tigers. I I'm gonna call that the Tiger King. Just
I'm gonna order one of those.
One of these guys?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I love those big square bills. I had at one point had like 10, but I kept throwing them in stupid spots and losing them. But
Well, those
I
stupid
literally
spots those are probably where the big ones are. So
Yeah.
you're not wrong. But I literally was just talking to a guy who's going down to Deha with this Brad Cam. You know who Cam is.
Mhm.
I was like, man, I need to get me some of those big fat square bills. He's like, which ones? I was like, the big, like, they're a regular square bill running like 3 to 6 feet, 3 to 7 feet, but they're like the size of your hand.
Like the scamp ones,
The
13,
big ones.
15
No,
ones?
I've never thrown those, but
those are huge.
the KVD is it the 2. No, not the 2.5.
2.5, 3.5, something like that.
I think it's the 3.5 or just the 5. It's just a really big. It looks just like that blank, but obviously those colors are so much better. But they're so big, they have drawing power. But unlike a glide bait, you can fish them quick, which is what I like about them. Like you can just throw them down a bank and start rolling them back, and you'll see fish come out of that blue line looking at them, or you'll see fish seeing, oh, that's a big old fat prey fish, and I'm going to destroy it. And those bites are awesome because it's just like hitting a big swim bait. It's awesome.
yeah, they're a lot chunkier than I thought they were going to be. If you want one, I actually have 2 prepped for a buddy in that pattern. If you want one, I can line another one up for you and get that rolling. It's always easier to paint multiples.
Right.
You know, you don't clean the gun every other color for multiple baits. So, you know, I could paint one bait in, hour, depending on all the steps in it. I could paint 5 of those in an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh.
You know, like lining them up, you can just get so many more done.
We've had quite a few custom painters on the show, and I don't think we've ever talked about that. Like, doing multiple baits as opposed to just doing one. That's interesting.
You can knock out a lot more. There's a little tool called Helping Hands. It's really like for soldering. Little alligator clips with bendable arms.
Yeah.
And so you put those on the eyelets and, with cranks, you can clip it to the bill. And so you could put 2 per unit. But swim baits and larger baits, you can only put 1. You got to put 1 on the nose and 1 on the tail. And I think I've got 15 of those. So if I'm doing something small, I can set 30 up. But if I'm doing the bigger ones, then it's 15. But when you fill your cup up on your airbrush, you put your base coat down on each one, and then the belly color, zip through all of those. But if you're doing a different color on each one, then it's dump the cup out, spritz it out, blow the air through. You got to get all that color out, and then put the next color in. And then cleaning the gun is just really the most time-consuming part.
Yeah.
So the more you do of that color at a time, the faster it is, really. So that's nice. So those warts, it took a while with how many, but I was able to load up a whole bunch at a time and knock out, 25 in a night before going to bed. And so that was, pretty nice I did 10 patterns, but I did enough of each that saved some time.
That's cool.
Oh yeah. I never even thought about that either. That, all the tedious process that goes on the back end of doing baits, especially like you just said, if you're doing 10 blanks, they're all different colors. You got to clean the gun every single time. And that takes forever. But if you're doing like a large order, like for the People's Champ box, I remember because I was a People Champs box subscriber. I love that box. Oh, I do too. I can get in the quarterly box though, so hopefully I have that here shortly. But if you're just doing 20 of the same color, yeah, I mean you could probably just run through them, especially because you're kind of getting in not the word habit. What am I looking for?
You're getting into a groove.
Groove. That's what it was. Yeah.
You got a method going down. If you're using a stencil, you set it on the one, you hit it. You set it on the other, hit it. You kind of move down the assembly line in a sense. As opposed to each individual one changing things up. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it from start to finish that like I didn't realize when I got into it.
I bet the worst part is putting the hooks on. I would hate doing that.
You know what? There's a lot of worse parts to it.
Really?
Well, I mean, getting blanks, it depends on the blank that you get of what you've got to do to it. What's nice with a swim bait, you don't have to tape the bill up. On this crank, this was a cool one. I thought I taped it up and let the chrome go through. But you got to tape that bill up with some masking tape. Get it nice and neat so the paint doesn't get on there. So, but some of these might have some edges on the bill, little scuffs or seam. So I'll take an X-Acto knife and shave down those, or sandpaper, try to get that neat. Then tape every single one of these up. I taped up nearly 300 warts, and that was like a night, So yeah, you do that. You get all your paint down on it. Then when you're done with that, not a wart, but other ones, you got to glue every eye on. And I use the Megabass downturn eyes. So you can't just pop it on. You can't just pop it on because the pupil's not in the center. So you've got to turn that and do it pretty quickly before the glue sets, and look at both sides, make sure that they're neat. You can't get any glue on the paint because the clear coat reacts with it differently. So you got to be careful with that. And once you have that, then I put a logo on the bottom. And that's
cool.
That is time consuming. Have that printed, then I cut them all out and I wet them until they loosen up and put those on and place them on. And once the eyes and the logos are set, then I take the paint or the tape off the bills. Sometimes some paint gets under it, so I'll take a dental tool, try to scrape all that stuff away, then wipe them down a little bit to get my fingerprints off of them, and then dip them in a clear coat and let them hang. And there's a lot to that process. But once they're all coated and hardened, you now have 3 to 4 split rings to put on every single one of them, and hooks. And Zach was, I couldn't believe when I told him I'm getting all these hooks put on for the order, and he's like, "You want help?" Are you kidding me? He's like, "Yeah, you want help?" He came out to my house, I don't know, Saturday night maybe, and was working with me in the shop putting split rings on. And I was like, that was just awesome. The guy I'm like working for, in a sense, coming out to help me do the work, is a great guy. We hang out, we drank a little booze, listen to some music, put split rings on, and it took hours. He's like, I had no idea how long this would take.
He's a cool guy, man. I like Zach.
He's real good guy. But there's a lot start to finish, and it's hard to know really what to charge for. That's
what my next question was: is how do you figure out your pricing? And it's all I've worked with one custom. He was doing custom paints, and then I've talked to a couple other guys, and I was always like, I'll ask them. They're like, well, it's kind of hard. And I was like, yeah, it really comes down to what do you think your time's worth? That's mostly kind of what it is.
Yeah.
And I think my time's worth about $2 an hour. Because what I'm asking is, in some cases more than like a store-bought lure. Because you can't compete with a $5 like Strike King crankbait or something,
Yeah.
But realistically, I look at what did I spend on the blank, how many hooks are going into it. I try to figure out what I put into it as far as money, $4 or $5. If some blanks are, I've seen some for $90. Like, what do you even charge for that? I wouldn't even know.
That blank, this is a TK. This blank I know goes on anywhere from $50 to $100, depending on where you buy it from, just for the blank.
And I get it. Those guys are probably hand pouring them. They're not, factory pressed with plastic. So I get that. I just can't say, I'm gonna get a couple of those to play with, You gotta tell me you're gonna order that and pay me for that one in advance before I do and paint that. But yeah, that's kind of what I look at. What do I have into it? That my daughter picked the colors out for that one. That's one of the first floors I painted.
That is
Good job. That's sick.
A unicorn.
Those lines on the back look so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's on this one here. Oh, well, you got that up. I'll show it to you later. Oh,
I got your full screen. Yeah, that's so cool.
That's a cool effect to put on the backs. I like using that. Yeah, it's just kind of a simple mesh ribbon that wrap around tight to it and put your next color on top. So the base color, in that case lighter blue, still shines through. Yeah, that's one of my early ones. You are down at the bottom of my page.
Yeah,
from when I first started. Yeah, that I think I looked at that the other day, and I think it said March 28th, and I was like, huh, that was the first day I was posting some stuff.
Yep, 2022.
What's hilarious, knowing nothing about social media really, I put a handful of pictures up, and like a day and a half go by. I'm like, nobody likes my stuff. I'm not getting any likes. And my wife looks at it and she's like, Brian, you got to use hashtags.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell's a hashtag?
Yeah.
She's like, you put the pound sign and then a word that's like related to it. And then your picture goes into all these other areas, with that hashtag. And I'm like, oh, okay. I guess. And I'm like, this is just getting more complicated, So I started adding some stuff to them, and I noticed, it works. People are seeing my work now. And so because I don't want to type that every time, I made a note in my phone in the notes app with all the hashtags that I'll use. I just copy it, paste it on every post I do. So it fills up with that.
I don't know if you can see my screen, but those are all for different posts.
Okay.
All those are different hashtags for different types of posts. Half of these are from Brad.
Yeah. We got a smallmouth hashtag, group list, largemouth, paddle and fin, the kayaks that we use. It's whatever.
Douglas rods, Loveland canoe and kayak, bending branches. I've got a nature one for when I was taking photography and stuff. Yeah,
there you go.
You just get. There's the internet is a great resource for finding what hashtags mean stuff, because there's people who for some reason spend all their time telling you what hashtags are trending. So
no, that you got it down then. You got it organized. I kind of stick with the same. What do they let you use? 30, I think.
Yeah.
So I stick with the same ones, but depending on what type of lure it is, I'll delete 2 or 3 and change those ones up. But for the most part, I keep, probably 25 of them about the same.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess you mix that up, you start getting into other avenues and other eyes maybe see it. So I try to do that, be smart about it, play the game, but I'm like a little too old to play the game the way.
You're not much older than me. We are.
No, I'm sure. We're right around the same age. But just having been away from it for so long, I don't even own a computer.
Yeah.
I'm not involved. I didn't know what a hashtag was.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to play the best that I can with the time that I have.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Oh well. We're starting to wind down a little bit. The last question I have that we haven't hit is kind of what has been your biggest struggle this last year with setting everything up, running the business side of it? Because you already mentioned you love, painting them. You started dabbling in it, then you came back to it because you missed it because, the winter and all that whatnot. So what has been the largest thing that you've encountered in the last year of doing the business side of it?
Okay. So I finished that big wigglewort job, and it had to be in for October, and I'm a big deer hunter, so I'm like, good, I'm shutting it down, I'm spending time for bow season. and didn't get a deer this year. First time in like 7 years. And so I was in the woods every moment that I had. And I was just thinking of lure ideas the whole time I'm sitting in trees. What can I do? And when the season was over, I go into my shop and I'm like, it is frigid in here. And I put a little space heater in there and it brought it up like 2 degrees, whatever. My shop was just stud walls. There's nothing to it. It's on the edge of my garage. So it's basically just an outside shed. And so I'm like, I can't wait for spring and consistent temperatures. So I dumped a chunk of money in insulation, paneling. My shop had like everything I owned in it. Just tools. It was my hunting storage, my tool storage, a wood shop. I had like 600 CDs on a rack in there and all this stuff. And so I literally moved everything out of there, put insulation through every stud, got it all fitted up in the ceiling, and got it to where I can maintain a temperature with a heater in there. And that took me some time. Moving stuff around took more time probably than getting it done. But when I did that, I put new lighting in. I was looking at a heating and cooling unit to maybe put in to keep it more regulated during the summertime. But it turns out what I had done with the space heater I have, I can keep it, 63 whenever it's pretty cold out. Right now, I didn't turn my heater off, and I went in there. It was like 86, because it almost hit like 70 today.
Yeah.
So I kicked that thing off. I'm not going to need it here soon. But yeah, that was probably my biggest hurdle as far as being down from doing some painting. But just the, other little things were working with clear coats, finding which ones were good. I had KBS that ended up drying up before I could use it all and started getting tacky. And I'm like, I don't want to use that. Yeah. I got the spray because it's in a can. I'm like, it's not exposed to air. It's not the same compound. I didn't know that when I bought it. And so, again, trial and error of figuring out what's working good. So I just built a UV box, bought UV lights, and got the Alumilite. And I tested that stuff out. Man, is it awesome.
I've heard.
KBS, I would dip a lure in KBS and it might hang for 3-4 days before it was hardened. And Alumilite, the first ones I did, I hung them in there, turned the light on, I ate dinner, I went back down and they were done. I was, holy cow. I was probably gone for an hour. They could have been done in 20 minutes. I don't know. But that'll help speed up getting orders out. Not saying, hey, I can paint it tonight and ship it out in 5 or 6 days whenever the tackiness is gone. That's I can paint it tonight and ship it out tomorrow. And that's pretty cool. So I just got that. I've probably only done a dozen or so baits with it. I've had it for, I don't know, 2 weeks maybe. So that's been a nice addition there. But yeah, everything's a work in progress. I have been changing. One thing before you guys have to go, one thing I did want to kind of touch on was you guys might have seen my logo change a little bit. Yeah. I don't know if that's like good for business, but I thought, why not feature a lure that I painted and just mix it up within my lettering. And I thought that was kind of a neat idea.
For sure.
I've had some people say, man, I wish I thought of that. And wait, right here. There you go.
Yeah, nobody else is doing that. That's cool.
I didn't have that one when those went out. I think I took a picture of it just before shipping them and got stickers made that day. But yeah, I like doing that. And whenever we're done here, we'll get your addresses. I'll send you guys some.
Sweet. Sounds good.
Free merch.
Yeah, free merch is the best merch.
Yeah, everybody loves stickers.
Yeah,
it'll go right here on my banner too. Like all these stickers you see on my banner back here are like guests that we've had on our podcast.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, from where I'm sitting, it's small. I can't really see what's going on there. But that's really cool.
I got
it's really cool. And Matt, I'll send you a Pennsylvania one. Maybe I can get one with some black and gold color on it.
Oh yeah. Great. Yeah, Brad can have that one. But Brad, you got anything else?
No, man.
Well, we hit everything. We hit some stuff I didn't even think we were going to be hitting.
I know. It was cool. I like it.
That's fun. Oh, yeah. Last thing, the hooks. I did want to say this.
That's what, when you mentioned it, I wanted to ask what kind of.
It's hard to keep all my thoughts in order here. But yeah, hooks. So I like to use the VMC Barbarian, the outbarb ones. When I got into this, I thought Megabass was so cool looking. I wanted to try and make them look like that. I was like, well, get the hooks, and the hooks are nice, and I can get them in bulk that's affordable. I could not get them for these huddle jacks. The two places I go to were out, so I had to go with an alternative that was affordable that would fit on there. And I heard you mention owner, and I'd love to put owner hooks on, but I can't find them for less than $1 a piece.
Yeah.
And then it's like there's 3 hooks on each one of those. And the blank itself, I would have been paying DarkHorse to do that job if I would have gone that route. And I'd love to do it. But yeah, VMC, the Barbarian, I do put those on every one that I do. But those 2 big orders that they had me make, I just couldn't get my hands on them. And I only have, I buy 100, 150 at a time because I'm not knocking out 100 lures all the time.
Yeah.
I just didn't have them on hand, so I got what I could to a decent quality that wasn't going to break the bank on me.
Oh, dude, owners will definitely do that if you can. And this thing back here, I've got a whole row at the bottom that has different treble hook sizes as I knock my light over. And I probably have in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 little slide out trays. I probably have $300 worth of owner hooks.
So,
and it's just, they're not cheap. And I find those in bulk deals when I can find them, and 2s, 4s, 6s, and 8s. And man, they're expensive, and I'm paying higher because I'm not buying as the same volume, but I try, and they're pricey. So I've used Barbarians. Barbarians are good hooks. I don't dislike them. I like the outbarb because I'm a Megabass fangirl. So that outbarb hook is like one of my favorite, just because you can kind of get away with a strike fish that's not really committed. As long as they get near it and it's sticky enough, that barb will catch something and give you a chance for them to get ticked off and eat it. So,
yeah, I like those. That's what I do put on all of them. And again, if somebody wants to pay, $18 or $20 for a jerk bait, I'll get the owner hooks. But I want to stay like my jerk baits. I want them to be around $12 to $14. I don't want to make them 18 and then, hey, shipping too, and now you're spending that much more. I don't want to do that. I want to keep it with good quality and affordable, because that's how I am. I don't want to spend a ton of money on something I'm going to be afraid to throw, that I'm going to lose it. So yeah, on the VMC, those work out well. And if you guys order something from me, that's what'll go on there. You can take them off and put your owners on them.
Sweet. I said, Barbarians are barbarian. Brad doesn't change out hooks.
I don't care.
I'm too lazy for that stuff.
The big reason I change out hooks is for the simple fact of all your mainstream baits, 9 times out of 10, Strike King likes to tout that they have really good hooks. They don't. I've bent out Strike King hooks brand new out of the box. A lot of them, they'll say, oh yeah, we're using high quality VMC hooks. Well, they're not using high quality VMC hooks. They're lying to you. For everyone out there, don't trust them. They're lying. But a lot of your custom places, like you're using Barbarians, oh Lord, Dark Corner, he uses, I'm trying to remember what he uses. He told me, I just can't remember, but it's a high quality hook.
It's a triple grip.
I want to say it's a Mustad triple grip. Don't quote me on it, but I want to say it is. And the Mustad triple grips, when you're looking at, I call that like a big box hook, But when you look at big box hooks, the Mustad triple grip holds itself own with most of your specialty hooks, like your, Dachis and everything that I'm ordering from JDM sites. The triple grip holds its own. But yeah, custom shops, when you're ordering from especially reputable custom shops that are doing stuff, they're not painting something glorious and then shorting you on the hook. 9 times out of 10, the hook choices will be good. Like the Barbarian. I don't know anybody else who uses Barbarians like for theirs, and I don't know why they don't, because it's a good hook. It's one of VMC's better hooks. A lot of people, especially in like the swim bait communities or the JDM communities, like to talk trash on VMC, but they make good high quality hooks. You just have to be willing to buy them. And that's when they're like, well, if I'm paying that for a VMC, I'll just buy an owner. Well, I mean, that's stupid.
Spend
they
a
make
little
good
more.
hooks. Yeah, about as well. And it's spending a little bit more too. So yeah, for everyone listening out here as we're closing out, if you're looking at, Dockmaster, Dark Corner, a couple other customs that I've posted on my page or that Dark Horse has posted, they're all using 9 times out of 10 a higher quality hook that you're not going to have to worry about it bending out, it not being sharp. Half the stuff me and Brad's pulled out, I've stabbed myself with. So, I mean, it's you're not getting shorted. Pretty much the moral of the story.
Yep. 100%. Well, I believe that's the end of the show. So, Brian, thanks for coming on and being our guest this week. It was a blast.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate you showing the interest in my work and taking the time to have me on. It was awesome.
Heck yeah. Guys, go over to his Instagram page, go check out his stuff, and put in an order because these mud bugs are awesome. The Sludge Factory is awesome. And he has a bunch of other stuff on there that's awesome. So, what's your social media handle for everybody to find you?
Dockmaster Baits _ custom lures.
There we go.
Yeah, just send me a message if you want something, and I'll get to work. We'll work together on it.
Awesome.
Well,
man, I believe that's it. So, anything else from you, Matt?
No, that's it. Everyone, thanks for listening to the end of the show, hanging out with us. Definitely go give Dak. Can't talk today. Definitely go give Dockmaster a follow. He'll be linked down below like it always is. Be paying attention for the Dale Hollow event. We're excited for that. And have a good rest of your week and hope you enjoyed the listen.
Yeah, good luck down there, guys. That lake's awesome.
One of my favorites.
Well, thanks again.
Yep. Go catch some fish, guys. See you later.
See ya.